So today we are making salted watercolor cards. Included in your packet are watercolor paper, watercolor palette, coarse salt, fine salt, paper plate, cardstock, and a font sample sheet. You will need a glue stick and a permanent marker if you so choose. Alright, so these are examples of the finished product. So this is a full card. It's been glued and folded. And then this one is just the watercolor paper. So if you want to set that up, frame it, it's up to you. So the first thing you're going to do is write any message that you would like on the watercolor paper with permanent marker. Make sure that you do use permanent marker, because if you use a washable marker, it will bleed when you apply the watercolor. If that's a look that you're going for, that's totally up to you. But like I said, permanent marker won't bleed if you write on it beforehand. So I've got this one that I've already sketched on, so I kind of know the design that I want and what words I want on there. So I'm gonna take my permanent marker and go over those letters. And it's helpful to sketch it out with a pencil beforehand. That way if you do make mistakes, they aren't permanent. Has just some different ideas on ways you could write your letters. And I went with thankful because of the upcoming Thanksgiving holiday, but you guys can obviously write whatever you would like on your cards. These would be nice to send to someone, especially since most of us won't be seeing family for the holidays. Alright, so once you have your message written, you can go ahead and start using your watercolor. The brighter colors are the better that they work with the salt. And you want to make sure that you apply the salt to the paint while it is still wet. So keep that in mind when you are painting. And obviously the more water you apply to the colors, the lighter they will be. So I've got all the color on that I want to use. So I'm going to go back over some of these areas and make sure that it's wet. Now the coarse salt will bring a different texture than the fine salt. So you can take a look at my examples. To decide which ones you want to use. Alright, so this card used the fine salt, so you can see where it actually pulled the color away in tiny pieces, whereas the coarse salt pulled it in bigger So again, it's up to you. I'm going to use a little of both, and just a little bit's going to do well. So I've got the fine over here and the coarse over here. You guys have your salt in separate containers, so it won't be confusing. We're going to do some fine here. And you want to make sure that it's dried before you go to brush it off. It will stick some, and that's okay. You just need to make sure that it gets knocked off. We'll do coarse on the bottom here. I'm gonna add a little more water. Some of these darker spots. Now the paper plate in your bag is used to contain the salt a little. You don't have to use it, obviously. There you go. All right, so that you just let that sit until everything dries, and then you can knock the salt off. So there's this one. And then these two are finished completely. All right. Thanks for joining. Don't forget you can pick up your supply packets in the As. And I hope you all have a great rest of your week.